What's up, YouTube? CITIUS Mag live from Paris as we kick off this post-race show, Torch Talk, presented by Asics. An epic night of track and field here in Paris. Still got the credential on because I just walked through the door and was like, I need to get on the mics and jump on it because it's a little harder than Budapest last year where we just ran out of the stadium, got on scooters, and we're home within 15 minutes. This is a little bit tougher, but I'm still riding the high of the fact that Noah Lyles is your Olympic 100-meter champion, winning by 5/1000ths of a second over Kishane Thompson of Jamaica. A photo finish. This was the deepest and hardest 100-meter final to make, and it delivered in all of the dramatics. Fred Kerley with an Olympic bronze medal. Unbelievable race. Caitlin, you were in the stadium for this one. Your first time ever experiencing a 100-meter final at an Olympics. There's nothing like it.
You know what? Let me break it to you down this way, right? So we're all watching the races, right? You know, CITIUS Mag crew is just having a blast. Boom, we're walking into the stadium, and they're like, here's this, like, thing. And we're like, I don't know what this is, but they're like, just put it on your ass. It's a light show. And I'm like, what light show are you talking about?
Because they didn't do this for the women's 100 final yesterday.
I was so confused. So I, went in there. I put it on my wrist, was, like, waiting for it to happen because I'm like, what is going on? Like, there's all these events going on. Why is this thingy not lighting up? Like, does it not work? Like, I don't know what's going on. Then the anticipation starts building because there was a lot of time in between like the 1500 and the men's final. And so you could just see everybody in the stadium like minute after minute just anticipating like when the guys are going to come out on the track. And then I'm looking out the corner of my eye. I see Kenny, Noah, Kishane, Oblique, everybody walking out to start setting up their blocks, and that's when stuff started getting serious. Because they set their blocks up, they walk back in, and everybody's like...
The music is blaring. Whoever the DJ is, spot on so far the first couple days.
It was so crazy. I'm like, the music is loud, the energy's pumping. Like, what do we got going on here, right? Boom. Somebody on the stadium intercom was like, some light show, it's about to start. And I'm like, what? And then boom, lights go down. Everything starts lighting up. When I tell you it was so gorgeous, like I posted a picture of it on my Twitter, but like it was literally insane. And I think the best part about it is that like they really were trying to build up the moment. When I say they purposely like kept them on that start line for like 5 straight minutes to literally build up the anticipation of the fact that these men were going to have to run the race of their lives if they wanted to come out an Olympic champion, it was insane. And I think one of the coolest parts about it was that the lights would light up based on whose name they were calling. So when they called Kenny's name, all the lights in the stadium went red, white, and blue. When they called Lesile, it went blue and white. When they called Akani Simbini, it went whatever. I don't know all the colors.
Yellow, green.
It went all the colors. When they did Jamaica, it was yellow and green. Like it was literally so planned out, so thoughtful, and so perfect. And I was just imagining myself. I was like, if I was one of the guys standing on the line right now, and you just had me standing here with 5 minutes of music of anticipation, if I was not nervous before I stepped on that line, I would be at that point.
Paris, you're making it really hard for LA to try and top all of these different things.
We're going to have a fireworks show if you want to top the light show that happened in Paris.
So for the people wondering, and this is a question that has already come up in our YouTube chat as we're live, interact with us, hit us with your thoughts on the race, and we'll chime in here and there. But the reason why they were held up for so long, I thought for a second that it was because of the TV broadcast and like they're probably, walking through and talking up all of the sort of statistics and race results and all that stuff to really build up the anticipation of this clash of titans that we had on our hands. But actually, I found this out from James Rhodes' tweet that there was actually someone who ran onto the track. And it was, I don't know if it was a protester, and people be crazy like that these days. But someone ran out and like security actually managed to get a hold of him. Thank God that didn't happen during the actual race itself, but that also caused maybe a little bit a bit of a delay. To your point of just sort of the athletes coming out onto the track, every single time he does it, like Noah Lyles storms out of there, is jumping so high up in the air, getting the crowd pumped. It's obviously what he needs. It's also what he needs to get his own heart rate up. every single time I see him do it, I'm like, dude, you're expending so much energy.
He's building up the energy. I think that's what he's doing. Like, the kid is literally like insane. But the reason why I love what Noah Lyles does is because I personally notice other athletes start to like do the same thing. Not to say like, okay, like Kishane is just wants to be like Noah. It's not even that. But you know how happy I was when Kishane came out and he did like I don't even know, but like he roar, you know what I'm saying?
He
It's
did.
like,
That's actually like the most sort of like, I don't know, emotion, because we haven't seen Kishane at a big stage like this, right?
You see him very like cool, calm, and collected. He lets his running do the talking for him. So when I'm watching Kishane through the semifinals, I'm like, I have never seen him not have a straight face. Like he's doing this, like he's laughing, he's smiling. I'm like, oh, Kishane is coming for blood, because he is literally taking the gloves off, and maybe this is his way of locking in. This is his way of showing like, I don't know who y'all thought I was before today, but I'm about to show y'all who I am when I line up on this line. Because I'm like, that boy has got some personality. Like, and honestly, I think he has some Noah Lyles level of personality, but I don't know if it's something that he doesn't want to show or something that he wants to build up to. But like, I definitely saw it there. I saw it in his mannerisms, not because they were exactly like Noah's, but in terms of like, I'm going to get this crowd hype for me because I've got a bunch of people that want to see me win. Why would I not take that opportunity to live in the moment and have fun with it?
So I think the thing with Kishane Thompson that, you know, this is definitely sort of his coming out party in terms of just like him blossoming as a star. Of course, he wanted to probably walk away from this meet with a gold medal, but the fact that he has a medal now is going to do wonders
Olympics.
and his first Olympics is going to do wonders for his confidence. He's also super young.
22.
The thing was, too, is that he was just so injury prone for so long that finally getting through championships like this, making it through even the final healthy, is going to be a big step forward for him, where he can be confident and be a little bit more cocky on that starting line. And the fact that like we're now sort of in a way guaranteed, hopefully, that we get to see Noah Lyles versus Kishane Thompson on bigger stages more often. I mean, that'd be amazing.
When that happens, like, I want to see Kishane tap into that. Like, I want to see more people be like Noah Lyles. I feel like if more people decided to like be extra, then like I feel like the less angry people would be about Noah doing what he does. And honestly, like, I think Noah wants more athletes to tap into that side of them. Like, why would he not want other people living in the moment? We talked about this yesterday. Like, the whole thing about Noah, I mean, obviously, like, he really wants to win, but like the bigger picture behind all of this is making the sport more popular. And like I said, that's not going to happen unless he wins. He has to talk his shit. He has to back it up. And then he can come behind it and be like, okay, X, Y, and Z needs to be fixed, or I can lead by example in hopes that people will follow me. So I really want to see Kishane. I want to see Kishane be extra too. I want to see you running up and down the track doing backflips and being like, talking with your chest too. Like, I love the fact that he lets his running do the talking for him. But after today, I'm not going to let it slide, because he has proven that he knows how to have fun and act crazy when it's time to get on the line for a final.
I do want to unpack the actual race and how it unfolded, but Mac, let's take a step back and pull up some of the results of the semifinals here to really sort of build up, you know, to how we got to this sort of stage. Because these semifinal heats, like, we can walk through 1, 2, and 3. The way it worked, again, was first two in each heat, next two fastest, advance. And if we looked at sort of the draws, we talked about this yesterday a little bit. It's like, oh, Noah Lyles got an easy one is what a lot of people's first impression was. But still, I mean, again, Louis Hinchcliffe, the NCAA champion, gave him a run for his money. Oblique Seville actually beat him in the semifinal. Ran 981.
The second time Oblique has beat him this year.
Yeah, but again, sort of like each time out, Noah Lyles just like kind of needs that extra little spark plug. And for him, you know, even that loss against Oblique Seville in the semifinal, it's fine. Like, it honestly alerts him as to what he has to correct for the final. It's a nice little dress rehearsal, and I feel like no matter what happens, at this point, him and Coach Lance Brahman, you watch it in sort of the behind the scenes in the sprint documentary. It's like, oh, they know what they have to work on, and they have, you know, an hour or so to really get themselves ready for the final. And I think that's similar to what we saw here today.
I think Noah Lyles needs way more credit for the mentality and the mental work that he puts in to be able to make stuff like this happen. Because imagine being the 3-time world champion and you get beat twice before the final. A lot of people would fold. Okay, there's not a lot of people who can take getting beat by their biggest competitors in the rounds leading up to the final and building up enough confidence in themselves or keeping enough confidence in themselves to come out with a gold medal. So I know a lot of people give Noah heat for like who he is, what he says, or whatever the case is, but you truly have to admire being able to come out on top after the people that have been like, people have been saying all year that like they want Oblique or Kishane or anybody to beat Noah Lyles. 2 out of 3 times he got beat at this championship, and he was like, I hear what y'all saying, but I'm not going for it. Got gold.
Yeah. So, all right, semifinal. Here's the question around Oblique Seville, because he did this last year in Budapest. He leaves it all in the semifinal, and he was dead last in the final. It's like, why do that? And like. This is the second time it's happened. It's sort of like now, we have all the jokes about Omanyala not, delivering on the main stage.
Stop joking about Omanyala.
And unfortunately, it happened again. But is this like, I like common sports analogies where it's sort of like you find the trend that happens to a particular athlete and you just kind of pin that on them. Right now, for Oblique Seville, it's sort of like he leaves the championship in the semifinal.
But I mean, like,
he's a really talented sprinter,
Yeah.
and I think that his moment is coming. It's just sort of like, was it really necessary to throw down the personal best in the semifinal?
I think there's multiple reasons as to why he probably did it. I mean, people can agree or disagree. It may or may not be true, whatever the case is. But I mean, one reason could be like he wants to give Noah Lyles shit. Like he knew that he had to line up next to him in the semifinal, and for that moment for him, it might have been like, here's me about to hand you your ass whooping 2 times in a row. I mean, but like, be serious about that. Like, imagine that was the outcome. Imagine like how you would feel as an athlete, as a person. Same thing with Noah, to be able to talk your stuff and back it up. So I feel like part of it for Oblique, just like speculation, could have been like, this is my opportunity to like really put Noah in his place. He thought that we were gonna fall in line, but I'm about to show you that that's not the case.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Sort of like, he took that fall in line comment,
and he's just
personally.
like, well, I'm about to show you what it looks like to fall in line. And in the semifinal, he made Noah fall in line. He busted open like that. That's what it was. And another reason why Oblique could have decided to do it is that maybe he just needed a little confidence booster in himself. That it's just like, okay, I can, and less targeted at like, I want to beat Noah Lyles, and probably more targeted as like, what can I do? Like, how fast can I go in these rounds, and what can I do in the finals to like really make this Olympic champion dream come true? So I think there's a lot of things at play for why he decided to do it. And then also something that a lot of coaches tell their athletes is like, if you felt great running that fast, why am I going to tell you to run slower? I mean, I don't know what his coach is thinking, but I know times that I've been in practice where Coach Green was like, okay, I want you to come in at this time. We're coming in seconds faster. And he's like, well, since you want to run that fast, and if you can keep holding it, then like, why not? If he can run that and keep continuing to do it in the final, cool. But unfortunately, that did not happen the past 2 times. So maybe we might need to change the strategy.
Yep. Heat 2 of the semifinals. Not a whole lot here, except for the fact that Connie Simbine, Latila Tabogo, Lamont, Marcel Jacobs, and Kenny Bednarek.
Marcel and Kenny gave me a heart attack. I'm not gonna lie.
This was super close. But honestly, like, I love the fact that Marcel made us sweat it out a little bit, because he had to run a season's best in the semifinal to secure a spot in the final. The reigning Olympic champion up until today, and I don't know, it's just more interesting when he's in the mix. And they put him on the outside lane for the final. I had a little bit of hope that, he was going to be able to replicate the magic, but even by that semifinal, you could tell, like, this dude is spent right now.
He had an opportunity to do the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, right. But the odds makers shifted the odds from the semifinal to the final, that at that point, Marcel Jacobs was 10,000 to 1, the reigning Olympic champion. It would have been. A lot of people would have gotten rich.
I'm so pissed. I wish all of the guys in the final would have just been on like, on a secret of just like, yeah, let's just let Marcel win to like let this be like the
This is why they can't get legalized gambling in track.
Let's let this guy win, because that. I mean, but regardless, I think the Italians are going to throw a crazy pizza party. We had Italians sitting behind us. I realized they were because they were like, Marcel. And I'm like, who are they talking about? And I was like, oh, they're talking about Marcel. And I'm like, if this man wins, I guarantee they're going to jump on that track and give him like the biggest hug. But I'm really proud of Marcel for placing fifth. There's a lot of stuff that he's been through, like as an athlete over the past couple of years. He's definitely been the butt of a few jokes in terms of like ducking races, being injured, the fate of him making it to the Olympics, the fate of him making it to an Olympic final, what place he was going to get in the final. And so for him to come out here, run a season's best, get fifth place, which is only 2 spots off the podium, like he was dead in the middle of the pack, that deserves a lot more love and a lot more credit than I think people are talking about.
He was bandaged up so quickly right after that race.
I mean, to be fair, he didn't have much time between that one and the final, so...
I was like, he's clearly hurt. All right, and then the final semifinal heat that I wanted to unpack was the third one, which was the most stacked one, I felt like, when you looked at the names on paper. Kishane Thompson, Fred Kerley, Benjamin Richardson, Hakeem Sonny Brown, Andre DeGrasse. And it was only Kishane and Fred who came out of this one, both of them looking at each other, looking across the finish line.
Well, they was dapping each other up. They must be besties or something. Kishane must be buying land from Fred.
That could be it.
Yeah.
But Fred, at that point, again, that's a season's best. I was like, okay, my confidence levels in Fred just kept going up. That again, when you have these people who have done special things in the past, it just made the final so much more interesting, where like before the race even started, you could sit in the stands during that long ass break and just like come up with a race in your head. It's like, oh, I could see why this guy would win. I could see why this guy would win. I could see why this guy would win. But yeah, so those guys made it through. And at that point, 980 by Kishane, I was just like, this guy is the problem.
And that's the thing. Like, I literally said this on my Twitter like a month ago. I said that the men's 100 turned into a Creed movie. And so now I'm finally going to explain what I'm talking about, because I didn't fully explain it on Twitter. Let me tell y'all, okay? The men's 100 was a Creed movie because Noah Lyles is Creed, okay? Let's think back to 2021 when he attempted to make it to the Olympics or whichever major championship it was that year. In the 100, he got dead last at the U.S. Olympic trials. That was bad, okay? Very embarrassing for him, and he took that personally, okay? Like Creed is like, okay, I'm getting my butt whooped. Let me go back. Let me go get in the studio. Let me go get in this ring and get right so I could become the heavyweight champion of the world. What does Noah Lyles do in 2023? He becomes the 100-meter world champion on top of becoming the 200-meter world champion. So now at this point, it's like everybody knows who Creed is. Everybody knows who Noah is. Everybody has to respect what he's done so far. But then we get into the third movie where
I never saw the third movie.
I'm going to explain the part of the third movie. Essentially, Creed and Noah Lyles, in this case, they're on top of the world. They got the money. They got the family, the girl, everything that they need in life. They got it, right? And so, essentially, one of Creed's friends, I mean, I don't know if Kishane and Noah are friends, but we're just going to say for the plot of the movie that Noah's friend comes out of jail. Kishane obviously wasn't in jail, but, comes out of nowhere and is like, I want to beat you. I want to take what you have because I have been working my entire life for this, and I want what you have. And so essentially, Kishane got in the studio, he got in the booth, he got in that boxing ring, and he was like, I'm about to show y'all what I've been working on. Yes, I've been injury prone, but y'all don't know what I'm cooking up. And then what happens? Kishane is starting to run the fastest times in the world. His name is getting bigger. And then Noah has to sit here and watch as all of this unfolds. And it gets to a point to where Noah has to really sit down and think about how he's going to defend or even claim a title that is not yet his. And what ends up happening to Creed in the third movie? His friend ends up beating him and becomes the champion. Oblique ends up beating Noah. Noah gets beat twice in the semi and the prelim rounds. Then Noah comes back out on top. Creed beats his friend.
You spoiled this whole movie for me.
Lives happily ever after, So I think it was.
I told you in the beginning. I haven't seen it.
Well, it's okay. I just, it's too bad. But no, like, honestly, it was so interesting to watch it unfold because there were definitely a lot of cards at play with a lot of different athletes. And so it was interesting to see Kishane continue to build up his confidence and quite literally be on top of the world until today.
Let's get to the final then. So in the actual final, the splits are out there now. I have them pulled up in front of me right here. They do every 10-meter splits. I always find these things so fascinating. But the biggest takeaway when you look really closely at them is that Noah Lyles didn't lead at all until
Typical.
until the very end. He was in third all the way through. So he was at 10 meters, 8th, 20 meters, 8th, 30 meters, 8th, 40 meters, 8th, 50 meters, 7th, 60 meters, 3rd, 70 meters, 3rd, 80 meters, 3rd, 90 meters, 2nd, and at the finish line, he finally won the whole thing.
That is the definition of the tortoise winning the race.
Yeah.
Because who's ever ran a race like that? I mean, like, if we want to talk about, great athletes,
It's the most impressive 9.79 ever.
It's insane because if you think about it, like, when other people run that race, I mean, we literally saw Kishane do it. Like, Kishane was not in the back the entire time. He didn't go from 8th to 3rd in like 10 meters, okay? But then you have Noah Lyles. Whatever he's got in the tank, whatever he's been working on in practice, it's literally all about making sure that he can just get to the finish line and be first. And that's why when I was really trying to root for Noah in terms of like winning the 100, it's because it was less about time. When it comes to Noah, when I pick him to win something, it's more about the fact that man loves to compete and he is a really great competitor. So I know it's easy for people to look at like, okay, but Kishane is the fastest man in the world and Ferd is number 2 and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, but also analyze how they are in competition. Kishane, and this is not to crap on Kishane either, but like Kishane this entire year has not had any type of competition. That man has been running fast on just pure high, just all on himself. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about Noah Lyles is that Noah Lyles can run fast and win under competition and pressure. So for me, if I'm going to pick somebody to win something, I'm going to pick the person who, maybe they don't have the fastest time, but they have proven time and time again without being the fastest person that they know how to show up and win.
When you watched the race in person, did you think Noah won? Did you think Kishane had won?
I thought, okay, because my eyes were like this because of where we were sitting. It's like we weren't on the finish line side. We were on the backstretch side. Mm-hmm. So I saw where Noah was and I saw him cross first, but I didn't know like what was going on with Kishane because I'm like, I feel like Kishane was right next to him, but I don't know what's going on. So in my mind, from my angle, Noah did cross first, but I was still kind of like, I don't know if he actually did because I feel like somebody else was right next to him. And so literally for like 30 seconds, everyone just like flipped their heads to the screen to see what would pop up. And then it finally popped up with Noah and then Kishane running the exact same time.
So we do have some insights from the athletes. And so when you're bringing up sort of like, did these guys think that they had won it? I'm pulling up what they said exactly in the mix zone, but at the finish line, Kishane, I don't think thought he had won it, and there was even doubt from Noah Lyles. So here's
the fact that both of them ran the exact same time and they both were like, I don't think I won is crazy.
No, I mean for a split second I thought Fred Kerley had won, like from the angle that I had from the Media Tribune. So Kishane Thompson was asked about his immediate thoughts after the first Olympic final in 44 years to be decided by thousandths of a second. He said, I could see him, but I thought he was seeing me. So he said, hey, Kishane, I think you got it done. But then I really wasn't sure. I could have seen who was to my left and who was to my right, but he was too far. He was to my far right, so I wasn't sure. This is my closest race. Noah said he thought he had it. Question is what was asked, and he said, yeah, because it was that close. Did you think you had it? Honestly, I wasn't too sure.
And that just shows like the amazingness of Noah and Kishane to run as fast as y'all did and to not know which one of y'all actually came out on top. I mean, that is just absolutely dominant levels of speed right there.
Then they asked Noah Lyles, because he was waiting for the results to pop up on the screen. And he said, I did think Thompson had it at the end. I went up to him, and after we were waiting, said, bro, I think you got that Olympic gold. And then my name popped up, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, I'm amazing. Again,
that is something that he would say.
Again, reading these things isn't quite the same as like hearing the athletes actually deliver it. So someday the IOC may give some mix-own video access.
Grain of salt, please.
For those who are watching this on YouTube, we also now have the 100-meter press conference up on our YouTube channel, so you can go and watch that in its entirety at the conclusion of this podcast. So check that out. So let's give some flowers to Fred Kerley.
He's gonna buy more land.
Oh, the man's got so much more real estate plans.
Do you think he stepped on the track today?
No, because this wasn't a world record. But here's the thing about Fred is the thing I'm looking closely at here in the results is the fact that his reaction time. Did you see what it was?
No.
His reaction time was 0.108.
Is that the fastest?
It was the fastest of the whole entire field, and he was 0.009 away from false starting. Like it could not have been that closer. And I think this is after the rule change. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Like if this had been Devin Allen's reaction time, you got to be 0.99. Okay, Mac is telling me you had to be 0.99, but like it was a super close call and a great start by 0.09. Sorry, reaction time. It's not my specialty. It was an excellent start by Fred. It's just sort of he didn't have quite the strong close as Kishane and Noah.
And the wild part is that he didn't have a wild close, but like 979 and 981 is still so close. Like if you look at that like at a glance, like in a picture, like you would be like, okay, maybe Fred won. And then the results pop up and it's like, oh, you literally only lost by like a nose hair.
Yeah. In fourth place, Akani Simbine runs 982 for a national record and a personal best. This is a guy who's been on the stage so many times. And I think, what did we say a couple days ago? It's like he's always the bridesmaid and once again ends up in that spot where it's just out of the medals by 0.01.
The issue with Akani is kind of the similar situation with like Femke and Sid, where it's just like Femke is always obviously going to get a medal, but it's going to be very difficult for her to get golds because Sydney is who Sydney is. The same thing with Akani in a similar situation. It's like you literally ran a personal best and a national record with as long as you've been in the game. And the only reason why you didn't win is just because you had two guys who have been ready to go at it for the entire year and have been carrying their countries on their back all season. So it's like he didn't even do bad, but I know that it sucks and it stings to like literally run the best that you've ever run and to not get a medal out of it.
Yeah. So if we're going to really quickly, Caitlin, you've been a TA at Kentucky. Report cards. Like, what would you grade each one of these athletes' performances? So, on a what's your grading scale?
Okay.
A, B, C, D.
We're gonna go A, B, C, D. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Oblique Seville. 991, 8th place.
991, 8th place. I'm going to give him, because I don't want to give him a D, but I'm going to end up giving
D minus, I think, on my part.
I'm giving him a C minus.
No, that's you're too generous of a grader.
Okay.
It is a D. It is a D performance.
Okay. Wait, do you mean like...
What is the first letter of DFL? It's D.
You're not nice. Okay, wait. So are you talking about just in the final?
Just in the final.
Oh, okay, just in the final. Okay, yes, I can. A D, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Not plus or minus, just flat D.
Just a D, a D.
7th place, Kenny Bednarek, 988.
He gets a B plus because he just ran his PR of like 980 something like 4 weeks ago, and he's literally been running this close to his PR for like the past like 4 weeks. So he gets a B plus because he did the best for himself. Not in terms of everybody else, but in terms of him.
That's not how a class works. Like, it's not like you take a test and then it's like, oh, Chris really sucks at math, but this time around he did okay.
This is my grading
Your grading scale's thrown off because if you're giving a B for 7th place, come on. Like, that is, to me, a C performance. C plus. All right. All right. Sixth place, Letsile Tobogo, 986. National record.
Okay, that gets an A because you got a national record. Like, you got a national record. Like, you literally ran the fastest anybody has ever ran for your country. You get an A.
You get a B plus.
No, you don't get a B plus. Like, it's not your fault that you got 6. You ran the best you've ever ran.
Fifth place, Lamont Marcel Jacobs, 985, season's best.
He gets a B minus because he should have won.
Okay, all right, I'll agree with you on that one. Akane Simbine, fourth place, 982, national record for South Africa.
He gets an A because he also ran a national record.
You know what you're saying is the fact that, like, Kishane Thompson has the hardest A to try and, like, get.
Keep asking.
All right. Third place, Fred Kerley, 981, season's best, bronze medal.
He gets a minus because he went down a medal instead of up a medal.
Okay. Silver medal, second place, Kishane Thompson, 979.
He gets an A minus because he should have won. You're the fastest man in the world.
Okay. Noah Lyles, 979, personal best, gold medal.
He gets an A plus because he was talking all that mess about winning. And
I thought you would just give him an A. He gets an A plus if it was a world record.
No. Okay. No.
Or American record.
Okay. He gets an A plus, and then he gets an A plus if it was a world record.
I just give him an A. I'm really. We're both odd graders.
I would hate to have you as my professor.
Me too.
You would.
All right, that was the men's 100. Anything else? Final thoughts on it?
Okay,
so I guess what is this? Yeah, go ahead.
I have a lot of like hypotheticals surrounding Noah in particular. And before anybody gets pissed off in the chat, this is literally for shits and giggles. Like, why not just talk about these things? Because, you know, there might be a possibility that somebody in the relay camp might decide that they want Noah on that 4x4. I know we've had a lot of discussion about it, and it's like you don't deserve it, and you're this, and you're that, and you and we need to have a runoff. But the thing is like, for the plot. For the plot, do you think that somebody in the relay camp is having at least a singular thought of putting him on the 4x4?
Oh, of course. It's like if the Olympic gold medalist in the 100 meters comes to you and says, I would like to run the 400, you consider it. But
it's not that. Here's my thing. Is it a choice that I would make if I was a relay coach? No. And it has nothing to do with Noah. It's just I want to see Quincy, Rye, Michael, and all of them on. Like, I know what my dream team 4x4 is, and there's only 4 spots. Noah's the 5th. I can't put you in the middle of my dream team. And not because it's anything to do with you. It's just imagine having those men together. And if they all do the right thing on the right day, world record, maybe.
Potentially.
You know what I'm saying?
Fair.
So it's like, why
throw the opportunity away for a world record
if you know that it's there? So I wouldn't do it if I was the relay coach and it was my perfect world. But I would like to see it though still. Like, why not?
Can't we get 2 teams, right?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, every country get 2 teams or something like that, or you could have put them on the mixed relay or something like that. But I think it just would be like nice to see. Like I said, I personally wouldn't choose it if I was the relay coach. But like, imagine one of your legs being the Olympic gold medalist in the 100, the Olympic gold medalist in the 200, and the Olympic gold medalist in the 4x1.
Yeah, actually, that would be pretty strong. And then a high schooler.
And then Quincy Wilson. So, like, just creating, like, the most random team imaginable, but, like, still coming out with a victory. But the thing is that if that ever did happen, all of the other 3 legs would still need to be really strong. And I know that today in this moment is a reason to, like, never count Noah Lyles out of everything. But just to make sure that we avoid what happened at indoors this year, the other 3 men need to be fast as hell.
Oh, yeah.
So if on the off chance that Noah is tired or like he genuinely just can't pull it together, and that's no slack on him, but if it can't happen, the other 3 guys need to make sure that they can put a gap on it big enough so whatever, leg that Noah does end up running, we don't have no issues.
I still put Quincy Wilson over Noah Lyles.
I would too.
But Noah Lyles was further down on my depth chart for the a 400 spot. Like he was like maybe like 7th on my list, and now he's maybe 6th.
But like, imagine for the plot, he actually gets 4 gold medals.
All right.
but just
imagine.
Just imagine.
What does this mean for the 200? Do you think?
Because he's not losing the 200.
No, I know that
He's not.
But his American record is going to get a little faster. But well, actually,
I don't know.
I don't know about that, right? Because last year we were all of that same thought, and it's just sort of like Noah mastering the 100 seemed to have expended so much of his energy that it impacted his 200.
It was still good enough to win gold, but like in terms of somebody like him who loves to chase records on top of getting medals, I don't know. And like, I won't be mad if the American record isn't broken, but I think it's a 50-50 chance. When you think about what he just did, as I said before, he literally talked the most amount of shit possible and was able to make it happen. And I told y'all, I said the worst thing that could happen is putting Noah Lyles in front of 80,000 people where everyone is screaming for him, because it is going to force him to win, because that boy loves attention. He got all the attention in the world, and now he's getting more because he won, on top of being in one of the most pressurized races in 100-meter history. So if you take that attention that he already loves and the kind of personality that he has, why would I not think that he would not be able to possibly break his own record? He is literally fueling himself and fueling the fire to continue to better everything that he does. And the thing about him is that he always wants to go above and beyond anything that he's ever done before. So getting a gold medal and then also continuing to break the American record, I think that's something that he wants to do.
Let's move on to some of the other prelims, and just real quick on the sprints that are left, because there really weren't all that many surprises that took place today. This morning we had the 200 heats. Actually, the big shocker, Shericka Jackson out.
Listen.
No reason given to our knowledge so far, but obviously scratching the 100 was not a good sign. Doing an interview with us and saying that the 200 world record wasn't going to happen. So then at that point you're thinking she's not in her top form. What does this mean? Then she just scratches. Jamaica's in shambles right now on the women's side for the 4x1 and all that.
I think the worst part, or like the craziest part about it, is that when I was writing like my article earlier today, is like the last time that a Jamaican woman like hasn't been in any of the sprint finals in terms of like earning a medal, I think was like Olympics, like 1988, somewhere around there. And so
I tweeted that.
No, I literally went to go look for it myself.
Okay, all right.
I was literally sitting there for 10 minutes going back through every Olympics.
You just got to go on Wikipedia on the 100-meter like medalist page, and then
you know what? Shh. But anyways, when I figured that out, I was like this is like actually like bad for them, and not because like I wanted to be like, I wanted to see Shericka and Shelly run. Like, why would you not want to see some of the fastest women in history? And Shericka Jackson is the fastest woman alive in the 200-meter dash. Like, why would I not want to see her race the race that she's good at? And so I think that there's definitely a lot of questions surrounding like, what is Jamaica going to do for the 4x1? There's a lot of potential, but we also don't know, because if we're going with the hypothetical that Shelly and Shericka are injured, okay, cool, they're out of the 4x1 mixture. So who are you going to use instead? You've got a lot of youngins at your disposal. And we all know that team chemistry is a very big part of this. And they would have a team full of individuals that have been a part of the relays in some capacity since like 2016, but not together. Because one thing that Jamaica was really good at was always having Shelly, Elaine, and Shericka on that relay and then subbing out one or two people. So it was always there. But now it's like, okay, we got Tia Clayton. Cool, she's great. 19 years old. First time making an Olympic final at her first Olympics. She's an excellent option. Kimber Nelson was on the 2022 team that got silver. She was the first leg. We've got Alana Reed. We've got Sasha Lee Forbes. We've got some other individuals who can definitely like make up for this. But it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out, because none of these women have really been in combination before. For when it comes to the USA, we've got people switching out every single year. That's not the case with Jamaica. So I want to see how they're going to deal with that, because at least what we've seen with the USA in terms of like constantly switching people out and not having a solid 3 to 4 people that can get the job done, it is kind of giving us hell for the past, couple major championships. Obviously not the past 2 years, but like before 2022, we have had some issues, especially for the men on the Olympic stage. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. To that point about the relays for Jamaica, the stat that you pulled about like them missing the podium in the 100, that was 1988. The numbers that I pulled up earlier, Jamaican women have secured 15 of the
I saw that too.
24 medals in the 100 and 200 from 2008 to 2021. Last night, they were shut out of the 100 medals for the first time since 1988. They're already without Elaine Thompson-Herah, who was injured last month, pulled out of the trials, and was the only Jamaican woman to podium at the Tokyo Olympics. They haven't missed a podium in the 200 since 1976, and that's at risk right now. It's I think a really, really tall order for the Jamaicans that are left. So that's Nisha Berger and Lene Thomas. For both of them to try and crack those medals, when you're looking at Gabby Thomas cruising to 22.2 for the fastest time of the day. Favor Afili looked fantastic.
I mean,
given all the stress,
you got Julian Alfred is literally an Olympic champion. If you think she's not going to try to go for the double gold, I mean, I still got Gabby as my pick. But, I mean, Julian is going to be on a mission to earn herself another gold medal. And so cracking into that top 3 is definitely going to be difficult. It's not that, the other 2 Jamaican women can't make it happen, but it's such a deep field already, even with Sharika not in it. And so it's like whoever gets that 3rd place spot is going to be fighting for it. Because me personally, I got Gabby and Julian as my top 2. Whoever gets 3rd, all power to you. So,
yeah, it could be Dean Asher-Smith, could be Brittany Brown,
it could be Daryl Nita. She looked amazing during her rounds today. I mean, the girl was so excited yesterday because she placed 4th in the 100 meters. She's like, this is my Olympic final. Like, come on now, y'all. Like, I got 4th. Like she was having a great time. I know she was kind of sad that she didn't get a medal, but she was definitely very proud of herself, and she looked amazing, and she looked even better during her 200 today. So it's no telling who can get it, and I think it might be an unfortunate situation where Jamaica might not end up getting a medal in an individual event this year.
Yeah, to me, that'll be crazy. Real quick thing on the men's 110 hurdles. Only big surprise is that the repechage round is going to be a little bit interesting because it includes the reigning Olympic champion Hansel Parchment, includes Freddie Crittenden, who had a muscle spasm or something like that, I think, yesterday. It's not like he's not calling it an injury. It's just sort of like it was more out of precaution that like his muscles haven't been activated. So today it was just sort of like a good dress rehearsal run through, get your body taken care of, and then go to the repechage tomorrow. An event like the 110 hurdles, I really don't think that having an extra race affects you all that much. Where sometimes these guys prefer, it's like, let's just go back to back to back.
It works for them. Because I mean,
the days in between the trials was so weird.
Yeah, I mean, even Grant and them talked about like how strange that was. It was like whoever created the schedule is like stupid, but then they were like, wait, this is literally the Olympic schedule. So like whoever created that schedule too is also stupid, because like, why do you have us like doing this? Because I think even I don't know if it was like a trials or like a world championships in like recent years, but like they ran the prelim and the final like on the same day, and it worked out perfectly fine. So I don't know why they didn't decide to do that. But I also thought it was interesting, like with Freddie, because I didn't actually get to like watch his race in real time. I had my phone in the bathroom, but when I was listening to it, I was like, wait a minute. Like, what do you mean, like, Freddie's out? Like, what are we talking about? Like, is he injured? Like, did he go down? And I'm watching the race, and I'm like, this man is playing chess. Freddie is playing the long game. And I was looking at
That's what it felt like, I think, to a lot of people. But then when you add the actual context of what he said in the mix, and he actually did say, like, I'm not trying to game the system or anything like that. It's just like, this actually was a precaution where it's like, I'm lucky that I have the repechage round. If I didn't and I had to go full force, and of course I would do it, but it's just like, trying to do that today probably would have hurt himself. True. And wasn't worth risking it when you have another chance tomorrow. So, hey.
I was just excited thinking about what Nia Ali did at the Olympic trials, because I was confused too. I was like, is she hurt? Like, what she got going on? What's wrong with Nia? And she's like,
I think the
I'm
Olympic
he- I'm
trials
just
rounds
here.
where like no one got eliminated was what
That
people
was-
thought the repechage would be like, and instead we're actually treated to some solid races, and so we have that to look forward to tomorrow. Then women's 400 hurdles, all the major players made it through. Sidney McLaughlin
very,
jogged,
very easy.
chalk. Yeah.
One thing I will say though, I really hope that Rochelle Clayton and Anna Cockrell can run 51 seconds.
And
at
Jasmine Jones,
this.
throw her in there too.
I want all three of them running 51 seconds, and I think it's because Sydney and Femke are just running like way too fast now. I need everybody else to start closing the gap, but like considering how well Rochelle has like been running this year, I think every time that she stepped on the track this year, like she's had a PR, gotten really close to it. I think she had a PR at the Jamaican National Trial. She ran 52 or something like that. And so imagine doing that in Olympic competition. I think she can drop half a second. Anna Cockrell looks amazing. She looks strong. She's confident. Considering what happened at the last Olympics, and considering like all the mental struggles that she was going through at that time now, I think she's a bigger, better, and stronger woman. And then Jasmine Jones, too. I mean, she was running some wild stuff in the NCAA when she was running the 400-meter hurdles. I mean, the only other person in NCAA history that's faster than her is Sidney McLaughlin. So I'm excited to see those three women. Like, yes, I'm excited to see Sidney and Femke duke it out against each other, but I want to see which one of those women is going to be able to run 51 seconds to get third place.
So that is the women's 400 hurdles. Any other first rounds that we saw? I think that was about it. Oh, then the steeplechase. No major surprises there either. Yeah, and we talked about that on the morning show as well.
Any other sprints going on tomorrow?
Tomorrow we have the men's 400-meter hurdles open up. Ry Benjamin put out a tweet. He's like, I've been seeing these guys talk all year, and they finally backed it up. So, like, he's someone who's, like, taking confidence from seeing great performances by Noah and Fred.
I got Ry winning the 400-meter hurdles.
Me too. Me too.
After seeing your two friends do what they did, Ry gonna run something dangerous. That's just it.
And then we've also got the women's 400 heats are going to start. Then after that, the finals for tomorrow, sprint final is... there is no sprint final tomorrow. It's just 800 is it's 800 5K, discus, pole vault. So no sprint finals tomorrow.
Nice.
We need a little break. We need a little reset. It's been an emotional past 2 days.
It has been very emotional, for being honest.
Yeah. All right, Caitlin, we'll swap you out. Let's bring on Mitch Dyer real quick to talk some high jump.
Give it up for Mitch. Yeah.
The high jump. Yeah, sure. Yeah. If we want Aisha and Jenkins on as well. But real quick, I guess, I don't know. I don't want to say real
What's
quick
up?
because you deserve quite a bit of airtime right
give me
now.
a moment, are you, for the Australians?
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
This is something I'd never seen someone so glued to the high jump today. And even like, Jacob Gower, the photographer for Straight At It.
Shout out to Jacob Gower.
Who's putting out phenomenal photos for us on Instagram, like never left the high jump section. Like very few actual race photos from the track.
Yeah.
Because it was an electric competition from start to finish, and we actually end up with 4 medalists.
Pretty insane. I'd flagged with Jacob earlier. I said, mate, you need to glue your ass to the track and stay in front of the high jump. And he took some of the best photos you've ever seen. They're on Straight Out of Dan on CITIUS. But yeah, mate, awesome. 56-year first for Australia to have 2 women on the podium in an Olympic track event, which is just remarkable. And 2 very different journeys, 2 very different athletes, but now come away with 2 Olympic medals. Now Nicola's a 2-time Olympic silver medalist. Eleanor's got the sweep. She's got the world champ gold. She's got a world indoor medal. She's got an Olympic medal, Com Games medal. Like, she's really racked up a great resume, Eleanor there. But mate, just special. Like it really is, Australia's not a small country geographically. It's actually huge. Like, it's bigger than the US.
Continent.
Yeah, we're huge. We're the world's biggest island. We're our own continent. But it's a huge deal for athletics making a resurgence in the country. And it's, an even bigger deal for women in sport. And continuing on this momentum of women just dominating, particularly out of Australia. So, mate, it was awesome. I've had the pleasure of interviewing them for the last 2 years and following them and, you know, becoming friends with them and having a deeper relationship than just interviewer to athlete. So it was special to see them and hug them and say congratulations, and to see them celebrate was huge. And I know Australians will be going off their fucking rocket on a Monday morning back home. And it's just exciting. It really was. So yeah, I missed the 1500s. Like I was saying to Eric, I was like, what the hell happened? I didn't see any of them because I was so locked into this.
Yeah.
And it was great. So a huge shout out to Eleanor, to Nicola, to their family and friends who could attend this time. And yeah, their coaches, Maddie and Alex. It's a huge win.
Explain it to the people. Why did we end up with 2 bronze medalists?
Well, so Eleanor, it's actually pretty cool. And I can't remember the other Ukrainian's name who won bronze. I'm sure you have it in front of you. But that's her first major medal as well. She's always
it's
been
Irina
around.
Gerashenko.
Yeah, so Gerashenko's always been around. She was 4th at the last Olympics. She was 4th at the last World Champs. So she's always been the bridesmaid, never the bride, now gets her medal. But it worked off count back. So they'd cleared every height leading up to 195. They got to 198. They both didn't clear at 198, and because they were the only ones to clear first round every single time, they share the medal. Because you'll see here, there's 7 women.
Vashti
like
also.
all the way down
Wow.
to 7th is at 195. So realistically, the American could have come up for a bronze because she was clear, but because she'd missed earlier heights.
I'm gutted now.
Yeah, it went to Eleanor and the Ukrainian. And look at this, like you'll never see this again. Ukraine, Australia. 4 women get 3 medals from 2 countries.
Yeah.
Like that is a statistical nightmare. Like, that is just numbers that don't fit into each
For
other.
your next trivia question.
Yeah, what a
Yeah.
great trivia question,
Yeah.
right? And it like they spend so much time together. Like this 4
Oh,
are
yeah,
actually
yeah.
really close on the circuit. So it must be really special for them to have this moment. And obviously Yaroslava, like she's the world record holder now. In Paris only a month ago. So she must absolutely love France. She must be loving this place sick. But, you know, and for the Ukrainians, like, yeah, they spoke about it in their press conference. Like, they have so much going on, obviously, with what's happening in the climate of the world, and they talk about it quite openly. But, yeah, cool to have a split medal. Obviously, great as, you know, an Australian to have an Australian split it. Mate, awesome.
Yaroslava Mahuchik, who is the gold medalist, we haven't brought her up just quite yet. You got to see her clear the world record earlier in the season.
Mm-hmm.
She's just really hard to beat.
She's so good, mate. She's 210. Like, that is crazy. Go measure 2 meters, 10 centimeters up your wall and see if you can slap it, because it's crazy how high it is.
What NBA player height comp is that?
Like, you jump in...
Kevin Durant, right?
No, well, even bigger than Kevin Durant.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wemby.
Yeah.
Wemby?
It is huge. Yeah, literally. Could be Wemby. Yeah, it's jumping Wemby. Like, it's crazy. And, like, she was the favorite coming in. It would have been... You know, obviously, I was hoping for an upset, but it would have been an upset if she wasn't to win this final. And she now, you know, enters the pantheon of the great high jumpers in world history. You know, to have a world record, an Olympic gold medal. She's multiple time, you know, world champ medalist, and I think she was also did she? I can't remember if she won in Tokyo. I can't remember who won Tokyo, but. Mate, she might just about be the GOAT. So, you know, to now cap it off with an Olympic gold this year is incredible. They'll roll the Diamond League. Shit, she could even jump higher. She cleared 210 on her first attempt in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the greatest shock of her life. And then, you know, all these photos, Jacob was there. He took so many great snaps of her with her coach and talking to her in the mix zone. She's like, I always thought I could do it. And I told my coach, I'm going to give it a crack. And then she jumped it. So, yeah, it was awesome. Like, and they'll all duke it out now until Brussels, you'd think, and see who comes out on top in the Diamond League.
Here in the States, we throw parades for like our major teams winning.
Yeah.
Like, what are they going to do for the Aussies in the high jump when they get back home?
I don't think too much. Like, I think they'll have
Come
some
on.
sort of...
You should organize the parade.
Mate, I should line us up in the street and I should say, you know what, everyone, we're gonna do some high jump drills. We're gonna jump and we're gonna celebrate. And we're gonna go fucking oath. Good for Australia. But No, like, you know, Eleanor, she lives in Sydney now, but she's a coast country girl in Victoria. So the town of, shout out to Lee and Gather. I'm sure that's never a fucking city that thought they'd get mentioned on CITIUS Mag, but they'll be going absolutely ballistic. So there's smaller communities will have celebrations, like the schools that they grew up in, the little athletics clubs they competed for, you know, the community that was surrounding them to get to where they are will have celebrations. But as a whole, Australia, like, we don't do too much outside of when the team comes back. Those that medal in every event will get to go to, like, you know, Parliament House, like going to the White House and, like, you know, do all that sort of stuff, and they'll celebrate there, but no parades through the street. Yeah, I'll stand out the front of my house and cheer for no one. I'll just post a video.
They're like, what
Just
the hell
me
is this guy doing?
Just me clapping. Yeah. They'll be like, oh,
just
man,
Mitch.
Brad's
Yeah.
back. Yeah. Huh, that 2.5 months was nice. That guy was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So glad he's back. But, mate, monumental. Super proud of the girls, and more medals to come. So it's great. We've got 3 thus far, all 3 women. So they're killing it.
I feel like you needed this after like a couple disappointments the last couple days.
Yeah, well, no, we didn't. We didn't need it, but it's like validating to know that, like, they came in as medal, you know, potential, and if not, like, expected. Nicola was definitely expected to get a medal. Eleanor, maybe not so much, and that was the same at World Champs last year. She broke her foot, and, you know, really only learned to run like 3 months before the World Champs, and came away with a silver. You know, came in this year, she spoke about it, mentally not completely confident and was really struggling with that, and, you know, whether she thought she was up to it, and now comes out with a bronze. So, like, she's just an athlete that continuously is challenged but rises and medals. And so for her, this, Jacob was saying he was trying to get, like, she's very expressionless. So I kept texting Jacob being like, do you think you could get a photo of her smiling? And he was like, mate, she hasn't smiled. Like, she's so locked in. And then Jacob was saying she had a moment with her coach and then just broke down in tears and realized what had happened. And even
and
the
Jacob
mix
broke
zone.
down in tears.
Yeah, and then Jacob was crying, and everyone was crying, and then, you know, it was beautiful. I was crying, you know, it was beautiful. But yeah, you know, that, she said it afterwards. She's like, I still don't think I've realized that I'm Olympic bronze medalist, and yeah, it was great. So, you know, you know, Jamaica obviously wins a lot of medals in sprints and stuff, but when you win medals in these events, it's so significant. Like, I sometimes find it hard to explain it to Americans because, and it's like, you guys are just so dominant, you win so many things, but like for countries like probably
Nice to
us,
hear.
it's so significant, and it's
completely.
a massive deal.
Yeah. It's a huge deal. It's a huge deal.
Huge deal. So, mate, they'll be out on the piss all night. They'll be celebrating. Eleanor's coach texted me, said, mate, we're up for a beer. I said, maybe just
You gotta
celebrate
go.
this one. No, I'll see him later. Not tonight, like later in the comp, mate. I'm not going to their, that's their night.
I was gonna
not
give you. I
mine.
was like, walk off the
Yeah,
set.
no,
Go enjoy
that's
that.
not,
Get out.
no, that's not my night.
Your shift's over. You're ready to clock out.
Nah, not my night. But you know, I'll see him later. But yeah, they'll be at the pub, and they'll be probably not the pub down the road, the Australian one, because it's not
That
Australian
was
at all.
disappointing. You
But,
took us to this terrible
I
place.
didn't lead us there. Someone
Yeah.
said, let's go to the Australian pub. And obviously Jacob and I are going to be like, absolutely. And it was a bit disappointing. So I hope they're not there because they're going to have an awful time. But yeah, they'll be out and celebrating, so they should.
Let's do the women's 800-meter semis. In this one, first two in each heat, next two fastest advance to the final. All of these were great races. Kick things off with Mary Mora running 1:57.86, secures the big Q. Then Worknish Masele also notches a personal best of 1:58.06. Phoebe Gill out, I believe, the 17-year-old. So all these hopes of
The sweep is
British
dead.
sweep
Way
were
dead, way
way
dead.
dead.
So dead.
Yeah. Sorry to our British viewers and listeners, but Mary Moore is looking great.
Looking really strong. Yeah, ran a really dominant race. Obviously got challenged, but, you know, I think she proved enough that come finals time, she's definitely somebody that Keeley will be having an eye on. Not that she wouldn't have already, given she's a world champ, but no, she was really strong. You know, you need to obviously make the final to compete for a medal. So she's done that. She's checked that box, and she'll be a real threat come finals time.
Aisha, did anything stick out to you about the way Mary Moore ran this race?
I think she is looking better and better every race we see her. I was a little nervous watching her in the season. I mean, she really hasn't raced that much. She looked incredible at Kenyan trials, but she's kind of been quiet on the circuit. So
Yeah.
I really wasn't sure what to expect. But today seemed like another step forward. And I think she's really, really going to be coming into her own come finals time.
In the second heat, Siggy Daguma, the world indoor champion, notches a personal best of 157.47. And then Shaquifa Maloney from
Oh my
St. Vincent and the
gosh,
Grenadines
yes.
Also
Wow.
gets lowers her own national record to 157.59. This race was a photo finish, essentially. Juliette Whitaker was right there in a personal best of 157.76. Renelle Lamont from France. Another reason why like the crowd was just erupting is because when anything is this close, they're rooting for their horse in the race. And then on top of that, Gemma Ricci, 158.01, doesn't make the final. 2024,
that's the big-
158.01 doesn't make the
yeah.
final.
I feel like the
Yeah.
big surprise of the day that Gemma Ricci wasn't able to advance through to the final. It was crazy to see how fast all of like every single race so fast. So 2 races in 151 and 157. I mean, to be able to knock out Gemma Ricci, like
That's
huge.
huge. That's huge. She was running on the outside of lane 1 the whole race, and I was getting a little bit nervous, but she looked so good. So I thought, all right, she's fine. She's hanging in there, looking good, looking smooth. And then that last 100 was like, oh no, you wish you could just push her on the back and get her down the front stretch. But yeah, that was tough. That was a tough one.
Is the rationale as to like why everyone was pushing the pace and running so fast just because this is one of the races where a little Q still exists, and so it's like
Yeah.
you
Why
look at the
not?
heat sheets and you're like, all right, these are all stacked. So if I have to finish 4th, then it's got to be a respectable time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, little cues are rare now,
Yeah.
right? And I think it's probably a bit disorienting when you're in this new format with the repechage, and it's kind of like, well, what do I do now? Well, I guess I'm just going to gun it because at least, gives me a chance. You don't want to leave anything on the table. So, and if you're going fast, who knows who you're going to knock out? You could knock out a medal contender. We don't see Gould, we don't see Gemma Ricci. Like we've left some people off the table that are excellent racers. So run the race if you can.
Yeah, and a lot of the people. I mean, I had Gemma Ricci, and Nia Akins. I mean,
Yeah.
she wasn't able to advance through to the final either. I really do like the new format with the repechage and how now there are, because it is cool. Like now there are little cues. It's nice that in the first round, there weren't, and now in the second round there are. It does add a new element to it. I think it is really fun still.
Are we falling in love with the repechage too soon where it's like now it's going to get taken away from us, right? Like it's not at the World Championships next year, right? I didn't see that on the schedule.
When were you going to tell me this, Chris? But it's a one and done.
Yeah, it's not in the plans for 2025 World Champs. They released the timetable like a couple days ago, and it's gone.
Christ, really?
Yeah. Now,
Maybe we can
I
lobby.
just grew to love it.
now we
I-
lobbied
we-
so hard
we-
against it.
I
But
just grew
now
to
I
love
really
it.
think we should just, get everybody on the horn. If you're for repechage, like let's hear it in the comments. Let's storm the
Mix when
castle.
you're
I'll
doing
go
your
into
parade in
Monaco.
front of your house.
When
Yeah.
I'm
Start
gonna-
yelling.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with the clap is going to start with, and let's hear it for the repechage.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Repechage.
The whole crowd is pronouncing it in different ways.
Yeah.
No one can get it
Oh,
right.
that doesn't sound right.
That's tough. I do really like it. I think they should. I think it's shown to work. Or it's been exciting, more racing.
Yeah, I haven't looked
I
at the
think
final
that-
stats.
yeah.
So like, how many?
Did anyone?
No one
I
from the
don't
15.
think so.
We were talking in the stands. I don't think anyone from the 1500 from the repechage. So it's crazy. It's crazy how in my head
You
the
think
word
it's
is.
gonna come out,
I'm
right?
like I can say it all the time off
You-
camera,
you
and
nailed
like
it
as
the
soon as
first
I
time, yeah.
I'm like.
Ugh.
I'm like I can feel myself outside. Like I don't think you got it this time, but I do think the 800 is like the perfect of like it's the 15 is a bit far in terms of the
Like, you're zapping their
schedule.
legs.
You're very tight, and with how hard the 15 is in terms of where the level's at these days and how it's run, the extra race is going to take a lot out of you. I think the 8 is still I mean, probably you feel worse at the end of an 8 than a 15,
Yeah.
but I do think you can maybe bounce back a little bit, maybe a little bit easier in terms of just one more race, and the lower it goes, probably a bit easier. But yeah, did anyone from the
the women's
No.
800
No,
at
I
Mac
don't
is
think
like
so.
that.
No.
Yeah.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
still, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, it does go to show just like it's so hard to you want to get through that first time.
well, like I'm looking at the chat right here, and it is funny how polarizing the repechage still is. Like there's people who are just like, I hate the repechage. It's good.
Hate is so
Someone else
strong
saying it's grown
for the
on me now.
repechage.
Someone says like I don't like it for the
come on.
1500. Someone says I have no feelings about the repechage. And
Wow.
it's like
Should we
We're
check
all
in
over
on
the
that?
map.
we're all over the map. This is
I haven't felt anything in a while.
Someone did say Nordus got Nordus was not.
No.
he was in E3.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. People
Damn
are saying that
broadcasters, I
the
mean,
broadcast
get
said
your
it
shit
wrong.
right.
Okay.
Fake news.
Seriously.
Fake news.
8-3.
8-3. All right, final heat of the women's 800 was Keely Hodgkinson winning in 156.86. Like once again, just sort of like biding her time at the bell, 57, and then just closing super hard.
She looks so good.
Yeah.
She
Give her
looks
the
so
gold.
good. I mean, I'm scared. I feel like my predictions are flopping, so I don't want to like say anything. But
Don't
she
jinx
looks
it.
pretty good.
You gotta
Yeah.
put on Eric's magical beret, and then
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, there's a red
I
beret. floating
nailed it
around
with
somewhere.
Grant Fisher, and I've been just people have been. I've been getting so much praise from that ever since. It's crazy. Yeah, like Keely looks so good. Each round, it's like she's just looking better, especially with the other big names not being able to advance. I mean, she must be walking like right now, like walking away from that. Like, I mean, it's
Just
her
keep
day.
doing what
It's
she's
just
doing.
getting
Yeah.
easier and
Yeah.
easier. Like, it really is her race to lose at this point. You know, Mary Mora is looking so good. I can't see her being left off the podium, but I'm very excited for the final.
yeah. So the final will be. Is it tomorrow?
I don't think.
No,
No.
that-
I
no,
think
they
they've-
would- I think
Yes,
that would
it's
have a
tomorrow
day.
It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow
Oh,
night.
okay.
Really?
Night, yeah, I believe so. Right,
No.
Mac?
Hold on, I'll tell you.
All right. So what does that do? Is sort of like back-to-back days of potentially running. Like she was 156 today.
It's tomorrow.
It is tomorrow.
Well,
Confirmed.
you got to imagine that she could have qualified for the final in a lot of ways. I don't think it's like, oh, I need to make this a very fast race from the gun if I want to make it through to the final. You would assume the only reason she went out there and made it a fast race today is because it's just easy. This is a very comfortable pace for her at this point. Yes, Aisha, thank you for raising your hand.
up.
God, this is nice.
You're
It
so
brings
polite.
a level of civility to
They're gonna
these
just
things.
scream at each other.
It's just missing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, Mitch, you see that? Is that hard?
Take note.
Take notes.
Take note of that.
You're harassing me all day.
So, do you think she's gonna go for the world record?
Oh my
Ooh.
God, I didn't even
Pull a
think that.
Rhodesia.
Fuck.
It's too risky. I think
You think?
that the wheels come off and then Mary Mora scoops you up.
No.
But look how good she's cruising these
The world
rounds.
record is it 153?
Yeah.
Is it not? Is that the one set in like the 90s? Or
Yeah.
the 80s,
80s.
by
It's
the
in a sketchy.
Yugoslavian?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You bet.
Hell of a cycle they were on.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, turtle soup or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. But
If she can
It's-
beat
it-
turtle soup.
Should we find her some?
do you think? I mean, does she try to run 154? Like, I think she's
Yeah.
gonna blow
Yes.
this
Yes,
thing. She's
I
gonna blow
do,
the
yeah.
roof off the stud, even though there's not a roof. But if
Yeah.
there was
There
one,
was a
it's
little bit
gone.
of roof. We
Yeah,
were
yeah.
staying dry when it was raining.
Felt great. Felt great. Yeah.
Must have been nice.
yeah. I got pneumonia.
There actually was a Kenyan steeplechaser with pneumonia.
I don't. Yeah, I'm sure he was just skin and bones and got pneumonia. Got rained up for half an hour. That's all it takes.
154.
Yeah,
I can see that.
I could
Yeah.
see that. With how easy she's been making it look, I could definitely see it being an incredibly fast race. We'll see how much. Like it has been. It's been fast, and you've seen that. Like, I mean, there's one American like Juliette Whitaker. She barely made it through on time. everyone and they're running so fast, still not getting through. It's just amazing to see the level they're at. I could definitely see Keely blasting a time and just leaving him behind.
Yeah.
Is Whitaker? She would be the youngest in the field now.
I would think so.
Surely, yeah. I mean, what a year for her.
Yeah, if someone would have told you 2 months back, before she won the NCAA title, it's
You'll
like
be an Olympic finalist.
which American 800 meter runner will be the only woman in the
She's not
in the
going.
Olympic final, then I think Juliet Whitaker would not be one of the first 3 or 4 names picked by somebody.
I watched her not win a Pac-12 championship
This
in
year.
Boulder this year, like a couple months ago.
Damn.
Like
That's
crazy,
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
That is crazy.
wild.
That's good. I like that. I watched her not win a Pac-12 title. It's like,
And here I am
yeah.
watching her in the Olympic
Jesus
final.
Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
no.
awesome. Hey, big fan, by the way. That's no shade.
Yeah.
Big Juliet fan.
No, it is such a so much can happen in such a short amount of time in this sport, and once you catch momentum, it really is like it's hard to replicate that sometimes. But yeah, she certainly wouldn't have been in anyone's probably top 3 before NCAA's.
No. And so, yeah, I mean, I think for her, what would be success in the final? I mean, it wouldn't be out of the question to finish top 5 the way she's running in some of these semifinals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go for it, girl.
Go for it.
Yeah.
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 I love how winded she is after every race. She's always like laid out on the track and like can't do an interview for about a half hour.
I love it.
But
That's
it's
how you
great.
want them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She gassed.
Mac,
yeah.
Mac,
Gassed.
isn't it crazy? We were covering Juliet Whitaker 2 years ago in high school. This is wild.
Yeah. It's a great story.
Love her.
I
Wow.
mean, to be the only American in the final as well is a real testament.
Yeah.
And I guess, obviously she's got 2 rounds underneath her now, and then also this huge year that she's had in that NCAA system. And then, even when you're at the trials, the common discussion is like, God, it must be hard to run the US Olympic trials after the NCAA system. It's now 2 months later, and she's still running, and she's got the biggest race of her life coming up tomorrow night. So,
I hope she's not doing cross.
God,
Oh, yeah.
could you imagine? Like, you're gonna have to come back for training camp.
Yeah.
Hate to tell you, we're going
Yeah.
up to altitude next week.
Sorry, Coach.
Yeah,
She ain't coming
Buffalo
back.
Park. Get ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I guess there is an element of it that's fearless now for her, right? Because
Yeah.
like I'm sure in her wildest dreams at the start of the year, if she rattled off 4 names from the US, she probably wouldn't have put herself in that team, let alone in the final, let alone solo in the final. So, I mean, she can go in with this real attitude of like, well, whatever. If I blow up, if I pop,
Nothing
so
to
be
lose.
it. Yeah, like I
making
might
this
not come
final,
back here.
making the
Yeah,
final is just
that's the
such a
win.
huge accomplishment. It's like it's just been such a storybook year for her. Like making the final is a win in itself. So it's like go out there, race with nothing to lose. Like everything at this point is just icing on the cake.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited for her.
I love these college kids at the Olympics, especially the ones who are just like having fun. Real side tangent just before we get to the 15s to close this whole thing out. Christopher Morales-Williams from Georgia, who just turned pro, probably with the best quote of the
Oh my
entire
I did
day.
see
gosh,
this.
So good.
It's on It's on our
Yeah.
Instagram right now.
I did see this.
So Anderson was in the mix zone. He was explaining to me what happened. Someone had asked him, sort of like, how do you feel about racing at a stage like this and handling all the pressure? His quote: well, I was talking with Coach Carly Smith-Gilbert, and she was telling me, you've done harder things than this already. SEC's was harder. SEC's last year was harder than any race I've done this year. The hardest part was just getting to be that fast. Now I go out there and now I just go out there and have fun. If I lose, I just go back to school and continue on with my life. But these guys, they're old. They've got cars and kids.
They're old.
I don't even own a car. I don't even have to pay for gas. So it's like, what do I even need to worry about? Spending money on pencils?
What
And
the
I
hell?
took that personally.
That is a hell of a quote, I'll tell you that. These guys are old. They have cars. Like, all right. Yeah. He's like talking about like a 19-year-old. This guy's got a car. I'm over here, can't buy a pack of Ticonderogas.
That's an elite pencil.
It's the best. Are you kidding? That's why you can't buy them. They're tough. They're the priciest. What a quote.
Instantly, I mean, that post is blowing up for us. Vernon Norwood in the comment section. Vernon Norwood, who's been attacked for being old. He's only 32. He goes, man, what? And then laughing emoji.
Honestly, yeah. I like that. Vernon Norwood getting attacked for being 32. Like, 32-year-olds down bad.
Down bad.
Horrendous.
Down awful.
Yeah.
Aaliyah Butler, his teammate, says, Chris, you don't even use pencils.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
that was my
outdated.
question,
Yeah,
like,
why are
doing
you buying
scan
pencils?
charts
Yeah.
in college
I do. I
anymore?
You
like
don't
it.
need
Like
them.
he's old school, taking notes
Yeah.
by hand, like pen, not even pen and paper, pencil and paper.
Rub it out.
Getting up in front of the class to sharpen it. He's looking for the sharpener. He's like, "What? There's no sharpeners here. Just use your laptop like everyone else." He's like, "I don't even have a car. I don't have a car. I'm not 32. Give me a break."
He didn't go like, I don't have a mortgage to
Yeah,
pay.
there's a
I don't
lot of
have
things,
kids.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't have a car. Okay, dude.
Yeah.
I don't pay for gas.
Yeah, like, look, dude. Like, am I nervous for this race? No. I don't pay for gas. It's like, I didn't look at it like that. You don't realize until you hit about 28 to 30, everyone's just running to try and get a little bit of gas money. That's what he thinks it's all about. He's like, God, look, I hear gas prices are high. That's why these guys are running deep into their 30s. You want to get around?
I don't go home. It's too funny.
Oh shit.
He's in the comment section now. Like,
He's in it?
yes, Christopher Morales Williams decided to hit our comment section because this was going viral. And he says, no, I swear I didn't say they were old. Everyone's like, no. And also, there's audio of this.
That doesn't
The
help.
one word you're trying to say you didn't say is what the whole quote is framed around.
Yeah. We have receipts, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to
That's
find
live.
it. But
No, I never said any of that.
he's like, oh, I heard they can't take video in the mix zone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's definitely no way.
Like,
that-
oh shit,
there's
this
no
is with the
proof.
audio.
There's audio out there of it.
Can somebody make a T-shirt with
Yeah.
this?
I think, hey,
Just trying
we
to
got to
run for
hand him some
gas.
pencils in
We
the mix
really
zone.
do. We really do. Maybe some pens and upgrade. Maybe we just get him a little something like a toy car or something he can push around.
We know who doesn't have a Toyota sponsorship or any sort of car sponsor.
He's
It's this
begging
guy.
out for one. Maybe
He's
it's smart
begging for a
marketing.
car,
He's
yeah.
like, I don't have a fucking car, but
Someone-
shit, I hope I can get some
They,
pencils.
they
Someone's
gift
like,
him a
"Alright,
car
let's
and
get
he
him a
just
car."
starts racing horribly because
Yeah.
there's so much pressure. He's like, I got to fill this thing up now. He just handed me a death sentence. I'm living carefree.
God.
Anyway,
Anyway, shit, that was good.
I want him to make the final now.
Yeah,
Oh,
it would
yeah.
be. It would
I'm
be great
riding
to see.
for this kid so hard
Yeah.
now.
If he wins the whole thing, he's also 10,001 odds right now.
Get on.
the odds makers. All right, that was great. 1,500 semifinals. We woke you up last night from your nap to
did.
give you the news of
Nap.
the heat sheets.
Night's
Yeah,
sleep.
the long nap at the end of the day.
8-hour nap you take
Yeah.
until you wake up the next day.
My
That one.
ideal nap time is right around 1 a.m. I just go down for a quick 30 to 40, get up. I'm up for maybe 4-ish hours. One more nap. But yeah, you guys did wake me up from my my nightly 1 a.m. nap to talk 15s. Good talk. I had a lot of fun. They lived up to the hype. It was exciting today. I really did not call them right. I was like, well, Jakob won't lead, like Kerr won't lead. Why would they ever do that? And like, sure enough, 200 meters in, Jakob right to the front, runs a really hard race. I'm like, bingo, perfect. I'm like, well, what do you expect? You woke me in the middle of the slit night. Okay, I wasn't getting out like my most sophisticated take. Yeah, it was a great race.
The
The
major players made it out.
Major players
Yeah.
made it out. Everyone looked really good. The biggest surprise, like the biggest surprise for me was how like Yard looked fantastic running.
The second heat.
In the second heat, fast of the day, 3:31. But yeah, that first heat, Jakob running hard but in control. Kerr just shadowing every move. Cole Hawker, Cole made a really smart move right off the bat, I thought, by getting into the front at about 300 and just not pushing it, not like doing any of the work, but just like, here I am, I'm gonna kind of stay out of trouble. And then sure enough, like 100 meters later, Jakob rolls to the front, takes it, makes it hard, and then Cole Hawker's just kind of out of trouble for the rest of the race, not needing to really worry about that.
I like how Cole came up at the very end, just to be like, "What's up, guys? I'm here. I'm here. Like, don't forget about me." Because I kind of think that's the podium.
I do. I really think. Cole is so confident when he's healthy. The trials obviously did nothing but just boost his confidence. I think you've heard him talk in interviews since, and he's just so. He's firing right now in all cylinders. I do see Cole making that podium, but man, it's going to be such an interesting race because we're all talking about Jakob and Kerr, and obviously for good reason that they're the class of the field right now. But Cole, Hobbs looks great. Hobbs looks great. Yard looks great. It's so exciting to now have 3 Americans through to the final, and each of them, really legitimate chance of making this podium. Obviously, I would probably weight it a little bit heavier on Cole and Yard, but still, you cannot count out Hobbs. He's deadly right now. I mean, he's racing really well. Yes, thank you.
Hobbs, we discussed it last time, but the whole get in second, stay in second, maybe the guy just ends up with a silver. He's got one trick, and I love this. I love this for him. Just get out in second, stay in second. Why not?
It's crazy no one's really thought about this strategy until he's done it. It seems so simple. Why hasn't always anyone in the prelims been just get out hard in second, stay there the whole time?
Well, yeah, I mean Ron Warhurst, right? He says, all right, here's what we gotta do, boys. You get out hard, pick it up in the middle, and then you kick home. That's his race advice.
Brilliant. That's fucking brilliant, coach. Done.
No one's ever thought of this before.
He's I have been doing genuinely the opposite. I'm sitting in the back and I'm trying to kick. But yeah, Hobbs looks great. It's going to be such an exciting race. I was a little bit. I thought Chariot kind of looked just a little bit worse. Still made it through, and so that's all that really matters. But I think. Didn't look quite as good as we might have thought he did. Who else? I mean,
Neil
you've
Gorley
got
looked good.
Neil Gorley.
Neil looked
Niels
great.
Laros. Norris
Laros.
sneaks in.
Yeah.
Norris, fuck him, but he's in. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Talks a whole lot of shit, and he's in though. I thought I was seeing his names. I was seeing the names come up. And I was like, is Norris not going to make it in? I'm like, that's karma.
Yeah. He thought he got what he had coming to him.
I'm like, maybe he's done a lot of other good stuff.
Maybe he's a good guy
He's a
deep
good
down
guy, and
somewhere.
he
Just made some bad
He's
decisions.
been going around the village, just opening doors for
Yeah.
people.
He's been dope.
Works
He's
for
like,
an
look,
orphanage,
I
something like
shouldn't
that.
have said that. I'm going to start volunteering. Before this final, I need to stack
Clean
up
the
some
karmic
karmic
slate.
points.
Yeah.
Because I
I'm
fucked
down
up.
bad.
I'm down
Yeah.
bad.
Down
The
real
universe
bad.
sees all.
Yeah.
And maybe, maybe he'll just come in dead last in the final. And that's, who knows?
That's the point.
We'll see.
That's what
That's
comes
the
out
point.
of it.
But yeah, it's all the big players made it through. So it's going to be a hell of a final.
On the BBC broadcast, Steve Cram, who was one of the announcers, he was when Ingebrigtsen took the lead, he said, "I think this is a sign of weakness." And the context around it is that if Ingebrigtsen was super confident that he wouldn't need to take it on, he said it was a feather in the cap for Josh Kerr the way that Ingebrigtsen ran that semifinal. Then after the race, Josh Kerr said, "I thought 3:32 was about what it would take. Just wanted to get the legs moving a bit more. I feel great. Other than getting into trouble with how much media I did a couple days ago, it's been pretty smooth. And then Jakob's side of things on the NRK broadcast, it's fun because now like I've got friends at BBC and then Norwegian friends who just feed me like what people are saying on the broadcast while I'm at the stadium. And it's
Chris
really
is
nice.
swinging it around.
Yeah.
The media's he's the big dog on campus.
I really didn't know where you were going with
Yeah,
that. Are you
He's
about
swinging
to
it. I'll tell you that.
put Chris on blast?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
I've been meaning to talk to you about it actually. Yeah, you can't be doing
You
that.
gotta cut it out.
Yeah.
Jakob, again, it was similar comments to Josh. It was like this one was all about getting through into the final, avoiding trouble, avoiding tripping, falling, all that stuff, and he got it done. So like, what are we expecting in the final?
It's tough to say. Like it's so interesting because in these last finals where in the 15 where Jakob's just come up a bit short, he's leading it. He's making it very hard. Like all the things that you would say like, oh, this is what Jakob needs to do to win against Josh Kerr and the big kickers is string it out, make it a really hard race from the gun and try and run the legs off him, and that just hasn't worked out. But I don't really see him leaving it. I don't see any sort of race where he doesn't take it from a distance out and make it a really hard race. It's just how far he takes it out and how he decides to make it a hard race. I think something like a continuous squeeze is his best option. Not like running a 56 and then running 257s and trying to run, it's like you need to go hard and make it harder throughout the entire thing. He ran a race, I can't remember, we talked about it earlier, where he ran the last 700, each 100 meters consecutively faster than the last, and I think it's going to take something like that to beat guys like her.
We got another insights from what Josh was asked, sort of what can people expect in the final? And he said they should be expecting one of the most vicious and hardest 1500s this sport has ever seen in a very long time. I'm ready to go after it. I think we all are. There's been a lot of talking over the last 12 months, even 2 years. I'm just looking to settle that on Tuesday and give my best performance.
Hell of a quote.
Great quote. Yeah.
It's going to be fast. And I think that Jakob has learned the lesson that he's running hard. He's going to the front. He's running hard, but it needs to be harder. It needs to be faster. He's not running the kick out of these guys. Like they're still able. They're still great competitors. They're sitting on his shoulder and still able to overtake. He needs to make this like an Asbel Kiprop type crazy suicidal pace to win this race. He needs to just go out like vintage Monaco Diamond League, like pretend you have a crazy pacer taking you through way too fast from the gun. Like you dangle a carrot in front of any of these guys and they're on it.
And I think if he does that, you don't lose respect for Jakob. Like after that, if he falls short and like fades and ends up out of the medals or anything like that, it's just sort of like, well, no, he just had to try. He has to try that because it's been evident now in, like you said, in those races and even earlier this year that Josh Kerr can kick and is just as strong.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw that last year. But, I mean, Jakob is the Olympic record holder at that 28. I think it was 3:28 in Tokyo. Mm-hmm. So being able to run fast in a major final won't be an issue for him.
That's going down.
Yeah, no, it'll go for sure. Like, it'll go. I mean, he ran 3:26 in Monaco. Like, the guy is
he's the best he's ever been.
He is fit. Like, this is the most prime version of him that we've seen thus far step onto a track. And that is not said lightly, given how many great versions of him, Olympic gold medalist version of him, stepped on the track. So, I mean, I think I completely agree. Like, he has to go out there now and just go, okay, I'm the only man who stepped into 3:26 deep water. So if you reckon you can run, you can float, come on and pull up, because these guys will be capable. Like, they might not, like, Kerr hasn't run a 3:28 before, but he's damn capable if he's in a race that sits around that marker. The jump between 26 to 28 is huge.
It's huge. It's
like,
a different race.
That's not a light marker. So you know, he needs to take the sting out of the legs. You can be as strong as you want, but if you're 10 meters back and the pace is at 3:26, you're not getting there. So it's exciting. Like, we're going to see the best duke it out. It won't be like a Centro, you know, slow the tempo down and kick from the front and do it that way. He can't do it that way because Kerr's going to get into a Chariot's going to get into a Cole Hocker, would be one of the most dangerous guys in it if that is what happens. They would have felt each other out today for sure. Like, they've already felt each other out in terms of tactics big time, but watching how they move in that semi-final and watching how Cole bridges up and where they sit and, you know, talking, Mr. Second Place, like Hobbs is sitting on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's a guy that's run a 143-800, so you just can't leave him into it. Don't want to pick a side because I don't want to, it's like you team Jakob or team Josh. Like, I don't want to pick a side because they're both great athletes, but I've been kind of on the bandwagon that I think Kerr could win come finals time, and that's not like outrageous take, but I don't know, like the way that he runs and the way that he presents himself and that quote, even listening to that, I'm like, oh mate, this guy is ready to.
It's going to be interesting.
War. He's ready for whatever comes at him. He's
because
be hard to shake.
like, I mean, I'm thinking about the Bowerman Mile and how, because we're talking a lot about like, oh, like it's kind of like Jakob needs to do this, make it this type of race to win. And I mean, like you saw Kerr take it from 600 out, which is something that you wouldn't think Kerr would necessarily do that before he did it. Like that's very far out in a very fast race. So I'm excited, and I'm excited to see if he does, decides to employ any of those, like anything like that. I think Jakob just has shown if somebody's on his shoulder with 125, 100 to go, it's just not. It doesn't. He just has a really tough time kicking from the front when it's that late into the race. We haven't really we've seen he does have a really good kick when he's just sitting and moving very late in like a bit slower race, but we just don't see it all that. We only see him sit and kick in these slow qualifying prelims. But when he does kick, it's good. Yeah. But yeah, I'm sure because this is the race they've thought about all year. And they know it, they've talked about it so much that they've definitely you would think they've planned it so many. There's so many scenarios where they've worked it out, they've talked it through, they've analyzed how they're gonna win if this thing happens, if that happens, if they do this. So I mean, man, it's shaping out to be everything is predicted to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's four guys that can win it, dependent on how the race goes out, and I think it's Jakob, Josh, Cole, and Tim. Those are probably the four guys that I look at. And look, maybe a wild card can come out there like a Laros, or I don't think Hobbs wins it, but he might get himself on the podium. But it all comes down to how that race is run. You've seen it. The 2 times he's been beaten at the World Champs, it's been that slow creep up on the shoulder. It's been 2 different Brits, 200 meters to go. Start to push him on the outside shoulder, not gets panicked, but feels that pressure, and they've been able to stream away. Like, you would never have predicted, really, that Jake Whiteman would be the world champion the way that he was, but he executed that perfectly. Josh went and did the same thing, and then to your point, he then came back and said, I'm gonna go 400 meters further now. So he's proved that whether he waits till 200 or 600, if you're at his tempo, you're playing right into his hands. So I think you nailed it. Like he just has to floor it and see what happens.
I can't wait to watch it. What is making this so exciting is exactly what you said. Like, we can run this race 10 times and have 10 different outcomes. Everybody's going to be on the edge of their seats. It's going to be the race for the ages. I can't wait. Like maybe we should just not sleep until then. Like,
Well, we're trying to keep Eric up. We're trying to avoid as many naps as possible.
I got one half an hour nap coming up. Pretty stoked for it. Then I'll be up. Yeah. I hope they do the energy, like what they did in the build up to the 100 today.
Oh my gosh!
If I really hope they do that for like if they did that for the 15, like you don't need to have quite the.
The music might have gone a bit.
I think they did one song.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
One symphony too long.
Yeah.
Because you always thought it was about to end.
But it was
and then just go,
unbelievable. Like
It
when
was,
when they dimmed the lights,
Oh.
when they cut the lights and they had the music, and then you had the wristband lights going.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. It was
Oh,
insane.
is that what the purple lights
Yeah.
were?
Yeah.
We had no idea.
We had no idea. Yeah.
I've never
Everybody
been-
had a wristband.
Everyone had
It
a
was like a
wristband.
Coldplay
Yeah.
Oh, that's
concert. or
awesome.
something like that.
It was
100%.
exact.
And
That's what everyone's saying. They go, "This is a
DJ
Coldplay
comes
concert."
out.
Yeah.
It was
The
like
DJ,
a,
yeah.
like a
It was
super
lit.
French DJ. It was awesome.
It was
Yeah,
it was
it-
unbelievable. I
it's-
really hope they do
It was
something like that for
funny
the
because
15.
like Chris said to me like as they were turning it down, he goes, "You'll never hear anything quieter than the start of this race," and it's like. It's so true because they're
Yeah.
pumping it up, and then all of a sudden, all you can hear is that stupid chopper going off like
Oh,
above
yeah.
the stadium.
I didn't understand what was going on with that.
Well, they had they have a camera that like is panning down.
Is it a good angle?
Don't know.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah, best angle of all
Oh
time.
my god, it's
But like,
unbelievable.
you could imagine the atmosphere of a pin dropping before this men's 1500 meter final
Yeah.
would be crazy. Shit, and it's tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow,
Chris-
no.
today.
Well, it's
wait.
already past one.
Yeah,
He's
it's
one of
1
those guys
a.m.
that did the sleepover and
Oh,
it's
wait,
midnight, and
wait.
he's like,
It's 1
"Oh,
a.m.
I thought there was a day in between. It's tomorrow.
Is it today or tomorrow? Wait, fuck. Hold on. Do they have 1 day
I thought they had-
break,
I
or
thought
do
they
go?
had a
Is
day
it
I think
back
they
to back
have a day
days?
break.
Yeah.
Okay,
They have a day
So it
break.
is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow's.
No, I
women's
don't like how you
5K,
were using the word
men's
tomorrow.
Steeple prelim
Okay,
and
it's
women's
2 sleeps
800
from
final.
now. Okay,
Yeah.
we're not getting tech because it's like
Couple
For
of
you,
naps.
it's 4.
Just
and
think of it
for
as a
the
couple of
rest-
naps,
yeah.
dude.
If they let me.
Couple of naps.
Yeah, they don't wake me
Couple
up.
of
We're
good
kind of
naps.
in my bedroom now.
Yeah.
Hey,
Or in Jacob's
I'm trying to
bedroom
wrap
now.
this thing up so you guys can get out of my bedroom.
Yeah.
All right, you're gonna hate me then.
Yeah.
We've got Paulie Throws on the line right now.
You're kidding.
He's just gonna give us a real quick
I'm
hammer
joking.
throw
I'm just
recap.
joking.
Paul, can you hear us?
I can hear you, Chris.
All right, Paul. Now we can hear you. Give us the hammer throw recap for today.
Well, I told you guys yesterday, I said watch Ethan Katzberg today because he was going to do something special. And he did something special. He first throw went out to 84.12, which was the second farthest mark in Olympic history.
Oh wow!
His second time over 84 this year, which is truly, truly ridiculous. And that ended up winning the competition. He won this meet by 4 meters and 15 centimeters, which is the widest margin in an Olympic since 1920 in the hammer throw. He won this meet by like 5%, if you want to look at it like that. And he only had 2 legal throws, which was kind of sad because all of his fouls were absolute monsters. Like they were like 83 plus easy. His second best throw was an 82.28, I think it was, which would have won the competition by only like 2.5 meters. But yeah, he's been the best all year, and he didn't falter under the spotlight in his first Olympic appearance. He's 22. He's in the top 10 all time. He has multiple throws over 84 meters. He's an Olympic and a world champion. First time a Canadian has ever won the Olympic hammer title. He is so unbelievably special. And, I think he is a really great person to get more eyes on the hammer throw.
Love it. Let's go through what we have tomorrow for the finals. We've got the women's hammer throw. We've got the men's long jump. What are you looking out for in those two? Oh, wait, I'm looking at the wrong day because it
women's
changed on
discus
me
is
already.
tomorrow.
Oh, we're in the next day.
Women's
Yeah,
discus
we're in the
is
next day.
Oh, that's weird.
We've got the men's pole vault. We've got the women's discus. Yeah, those two.
Yeah, so pole vault is, it's the Mondo show.
Yeah.
It always is, but that battle for second and third is going to be really interesting. There were a couple people kind of surprisingly didn't make it out of qualifying. Chris Nielsen and Jacob Wooten, I believe. The other 2 Americans didn't make it through. Sam Kendricks did, and he's been looking really solid. He's probably a pretty safe bet to get on the podium. Or not a safe bet, but he has a pretty strong chance at landing on the
Eric only
podium.
wants the safe bets.
EJ Obiena of the Philippines.
All right, I need cash.
EJ Obiena of the Philippines had a little scare in qualifying. He needed a third attempt clearance to make it through, but he's through. He's won. He's been on the podium both the last 2 World Championships. And then, yeah, I mean, there's just so many guys that could end up clearing like 595, maybe a couple that could push 6, but really the thing with men's pole vault is just how high is Mondo going to be able to go?
Women's discus, the Val Almond show.
It should be, but that's also what we've thought coming into the last 2 World Championships. And then people have just had the absolute best days of their life. And so if Val doesn't win, it's going to be heartbreaking because it would
Don't
have
speak
to
that
follow...
to existence. Cut it out now, Paul.
Shut it
Okay,
down.
all right. I'm not going to say anything.
Oh.
Valerie Allman is going to defend her Olympic title then.
Prestigious guys here.
She had the best throw in qualifying by like 4 meters. Without Jaime Perez here, she has like the 9 best throws in the world this year. That's going to be another one where it's a clear favorite, and then the podium battle behind them is going to be very interesting. So you've got the likes of Bin Feng, Jorinda Van Klinken, Sandra Elkasevich, Vanessa Kamga hit a big Swedish record in qualifying. It's going to be an absolute battle, and it's going to be incredibly entertaining to watch. But Valerie Allman is, I'd say, if Eric's looking for safe bets, I'd say Val's a pretty safe bet.
All
There's your
right.
gas, Eric.
But also, I don't
Paul,
think there would
when you
be
get home.
any value there, so might not be worth it.
Before we let you go, give us your thoughts on the men's 100 and then your prediction for the men's 15.
That was one of the craziest things, just watching that on TV and the build up of them just sitting behind the blocks for like 2 minutes. I was like, this has got to be really annoying for them because it's pretty annoying for us. It's kind of like the wet circle in the shot yesterday. But that I think you guys have pretty much covered it all. There's nothing you could have possibly wanted more out of that. We had 8th place was 991. That's really all you need to say. It came down to thousandths for the first time in like 44 years, I think since 1980. It was an incredible race. For the 1500 tomorrow, it's going to be awesome. Josh said in the mix zone, he's like, this is going to be the most vicious race ever. And I cannot wait to see what that looks like. We've got 3 Americans in the final, so that's going to be fun to watch. But yeah, that one is going to be an absolute all-timer, no doubt about it.
Awesome. All right, Paul. Well, we appreciate you jumping on, and keep up the great work on running the social team from afar.
Oh, thanks, Chris.
All right. Paulie throws, everybody.
Love that guy.
All right. Final thoughts. Are we going to go out and do predictions on the 15, or are we...
Yeah.
Really?
Whatever you want.
Oh my.
Oh, well, we don't have. Like,
I
shit,
think.
I don't
Look,
run the
I
ship.
think.
What do you want?
I don't know.
You need a couple
Put
naps.
the beret on.
Yeah, I just wasn't quite prepared for predictions, and now I'm like,
Beret on.
there's a lot riding on this. It's a lot.
Should we do tomorrow
what
then?
You got riding
I don't know. It's just look. It's cosmic karma. I'm telling you. If I fuck up, I swear it's not gonna be good.
All right, we'll save it for tomorrow then.
Yeah, I mean, you can. If you guys want to, I'll suck it up and we can give predictions.
But you don't want to go first.
But I don't want to go first. I'll tell you that.
All right, we'll let Eric sleep on it one more night,
Okay.
Thanks.
and then we'll come back to it tomorrow.
Yeah.
All
It's a
right.
good 2
And
hours.
also,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it keeps the people coming back to the show. All right.
Perfect.
So I think that does it for Torch Talk Day 5? 4.
4. Yeah.
Day 4 in the books. I don't know what day of the week it is now. Like, I'm just operating off of August 4th.
I think it's Monday.
Now it's Monday
Yeah.
here in Paris right now.
Yeah.
It's still Sunday back in the States.
It's Monday in Australia. that's the only way I'm thinking of it.
All right, that does it. On behalf of Eric Jenkins, Mitch Dyer, Aisha Protlier, Caitlin Hutchison, I'm Chris Chavez. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to like, subscribe, and we're going to keep more and more content coming your way all throughout the games. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.